Alright, so today we're going to muck about with some Asvine C80s. I have here a C80 in glitter green. Look at all that glitter. This pen has a medium steel nib. I also have a C80 in brown gold. This is a bit more glittery than what shows up on camera, but it's also more apparent in certain lighting. This pen has a steel 1.1 stub nib. I would say that as stub nibs go, as 1.1s go, this drops a thinner line than almost any other similarly sized stub nib that I own. So what we're going to do is we're going to just look at how the lines are different between these two nibs. So the inks I'm using today, in the brown and gold C80, I have Colorverse Coffee Break. This is a nice brown ink. In the glitter green C80, I have this Wordsworth in black racing green ink, which is a really interesting ink. It's one that goes on a lot lighter than what it dries at, and we will demonstrate that. So I'm just going to start over here. We're going to scribble. Then we'll come back and take a look at this after it has dried. And then I'll also do a little scribbling with this Colorverse ink. Oop, I'm railroading there, you see that? Line variation there. Let's see what this looks like from this medium nib. I will say that this Wordsworth in black ink, this racing green, actually does have some wonderful shading. It's just it's so light. You can see, I don't know if that's going to turn out on camera, but this was difficult to see as the ink fell on the page. It's dried to a lovely, lovely green. This is obviously not BRG, British Racing Green, but it's still a wonderful green. I'm just not sure how racing fits into it. More railroading. This is me. I just filled this pen. Oh. Stub nibs only stub when you hold it appropriately. And when you're sitting at a funky angle while trying to film something, doesn't necessarily really work out. So you can see when I actually adjust how I'm sitting, the line variation is in fact there. Let's actually see what that looks like if I can avoid pressing down too firmly on that nib. So the stub nib is roughly half the width of the medium nib. And this ink just goes on so wet. You see that? Oh, it's already absorbed into the paper. I'm just using garbage paper for this. It was on sale. Boy, oh boy. Delightful pen. So, I actually lifted it off the page. The horizontal line with this, because this nib is so narrow, the amount of feedback you're getting, horizontal lines, it's extremely difficult to detect. The vertical line, though, is about equivalent to what I'm feeling through the medium nib on this pen. And that's part of the appeal of stub nibs. At least for me. Because the way the pen feels is somewhat dynamic. And of course, the harder you press, you can hear it. It goes from being about equivalent to a medium nib, but if I apply more and more pressure, obviously the amount of feedback increases to the point where it sounds like lead being drug across a page. Shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Actually, let's compare that. This is a Uniball Kuru Toga Advanced Upgrade Mechanical Pencil. Let's see if we hear the same feedback. See if we even feel it. That's no actual pressure and you can hear it. Let's listen. I would say the feedback with a vertical line with this stub nib is roughly equivalent to a quarter to maybe 1/3 of what I feel through this particular pencil. A lateral or a horizontal line, you can hear it, but it doesn't feel like anything. And let's compare it with, again, the medium. Let's listen. I feel almost nothing, which is remarkable for a $30 pen. Actually, I think this is a $25 pen. I'm not even sure if I paid actually $25 for either of these. I think the stubs are usually more expensive, but I think I might have paid just under $25 for each of these. So that's $50 in pens, roughly. This mechanical pencil, I have no idea. This is my favorite mechanical pencil at the moment. The Kuru Toga engine is a remarkable feat of engineering. Do you hear that? That's the Kuru Toga engine rotating the lead each time pressure is applied. To result in the lead wearing evenly. Otherwise, over the course of time, when you're using a pencil, eventually the line you're dropping gets thicker. And there's still some of that with a Kuru Toga pencil if you do not lift the pencil up, because that pressure is what causes the Kuru Toga engine to ratchet and rotate the lead as a result. There are a lot of these Kuru Toga pencils at this particular point. This one remains my favorite. I've owned this for, I couldn't tell you, a year almost. This stub nib on this particular pen, though, this Asvine C80, was a particular concern of mine when I first received it, because it was not performing as you would expect. This required a fair amount of tuning. Nibs are inconsistent with a lot of these pen companies. It's not just pens from Asvine or Jinhao or whoever. I have had pens from many manufacturers scattered from one continent to the other, where people have raved about the nibs, only when I received it, the nibs needed sometimes a substantial amount of tuning, and this is one that required a substantial amount of tuning. But I got it to the point where I'm happy with it. I use this pen. This is actually currently inked. I'm using this for work purposes currently. And this is one that was going to be sacrificed to the eBay gods. Meanwhile, the medium nib, and nothing against medium nibs, they're fine. But they're kind of boring when compared to an Architect nib or a Stub nib. The way the pen feels, because of the shape of the nib, remains fairly consistent when using it, making it a very good pen for actual utilitarian use. But it's not as exciting as a stub. Every nib should be a stub, which I say constantly, except for Architect nibs and long knife nibs and nibs that do fun things. And I got some things coming that have nib styles I have never seen before. You may have, I didn't. It's new to me. So we'll have some fun with that once they arrive. And anyway, this is what you can expect from these nibs. Check out the difference in the line thickness. You'll notice here the line thickness is not particularly variable. This is what happens when you hold the stub nib at a weird angle to accommodate a camera. We've recovered here a bit with my janky handwriting. And yeah, we even broke out a mechanical pencil. What a video. What a time to be alive. Asvine C80 medium nib, Asvine C80 stub nib, Uni Kuru Toga advanced upgrade. Ta-da!